Behold, my clones. Because what's a Monkey King game without clones? Hey guys, welcome back as always. My name is Lazer, and today I'm gonna give you my first impressions on Black Myth Wukong. I did not receive the game for free, it's not a review copy, nothing of the sort. This was bought for me by my community, and I've been playing for about 4 to 5 hours now. And I want to give you kind of like the law of the land, just in case you were thinking about picking this one up. First things first, if you have a look over on Steam, you're gonna see 380,000 reviews on this one, and it's 96% positive. So needless to say, the opinion is that this is not a good game, but an absolutely great game. And that kind of aligns to my own as well, to a certain degree. In the sense that the gameplay itself and my experience up until this point has been pretty goddamn good with Black Myth Wukong. I love the encounters, I love the mythology. Of course, this will be subjective and down to the user if you actually love the universe and whole thing, the whole Monkey King legend and all whatnot. But in terms of gameplay, it's very God of War-ish, and in terms of the system it has in play. So if you played God of War and you love God of War like I love God of War, then you're gonna be loving this one as well. One of the major drawbacks that I do want to point out, however, is the fact that this one is extremely GPU heavy, let's just put it like that. Apparently they built it from the ground up, expecting and forcing you to use upscalers. Of course, I'm talking about DLSS, FSR, depending on, again, on what GPU you're using. So there's no not using DLSS. I even seen users with RTX 4090 struggle to keep DLSS off. So if you want to keep this one off, you got to go to 100%, then DLSS goes to DLAA, which is an anti-aliasing method. I am really not a fan of NVIDIA, not only NVIDIA pushing these technologies instead of giving us GPU muscle for rasterized performance. This is an issue with the game as far as I'm concerned. Yes, it is very GPU bound. The recommended GPU over on the Steam page is an RTX 2060. I find that one laughable, and yes, you will be forced into an upscaler. The good part is that I didn't see a huge fidelity hit by using DLSS. Of course, the fidelity hit is there, definitely. As for frame generation as per the usual for the NVIDIA side of things is fantastic when you have a single player experience, just like this one, an immersive experience, but your GPU is already pushing 60, 70, 80, 90 FPS, and you just want to push to 120, 145, something like that. If you're going to be using frame generation at lower frame rates, something like you're pushing 30, 40, and you're trying to push to 60, you're going to be seeing all sorts of smudging, artifacting, essentially your main character popping in and out. Like DLSS, frame generation is a tech that helps you get more frames, but of course the responsiveness goes a little bit down as well. It's a lot better than using DLSS by itself. But again, you should be using this one only if you already have a good chunk of FPS going already and you're just trying to push higher. Outside of that, using frame generation at 30-40 FPS unfortunately did not yield the best results, and I think I can show you that. Let's nuke the FPS by turning off DLSS and putting this on. The objective for me was nothing more than 60 FPS. That's it. 60 FPS, nothing more than that. And I'm gonna show you exactly how this one performs now. So this is high or very high. Look, I mean, I don't think I need to say anything else than that. Never mind the choppiness, but take a look at your main character, how he like disappears in and out as you move the camera. Anything that moves fast, anything at all that has some sort of velocity to it will pop in and out. Now, if you are to turn off frame generation, and that's because, again, we do not have a good chunk of steady FPS to actually use frame generation, the smudginess and the popping in and out will disappear, but unfortunately your FPS will also take a dive. Yeah. It should also be noted that right now I am recording, so I am suffering a performance hit because I am recording. The performance hit from my testing is between 5 and 10%. 10% is me being very, very optimistic with it. It is a GPU hog of a game. It looks absolutely stunning, beautiful. Just like everybody else said, it is a very, very beautiful looking game, but it does require a whole lot of resources in order to work properly. From what I heard, the PS5 version as well is suffering from a lot of performance issues. And I do believe that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to point out from a performance perspective. I am not very happy with the game from this point of view. And by the way, I was on high. not even very high or cinematic, which is just insane. You just cannot run that. My setup is an RTX 4080, 64 gigs of RAM, and a 7950X3D. And for this setup, I keep DLSS at 50%, super resolution at 50% with the frame generation off in order to get a playable and pretty good gaming experience overall while streaming and recording. Outside of that, there's really not a whole lot to say about this one. I have no stake in you buying the game or not buying the game, because I know that 60-70 euro for a lot of you may seem like a big investment. For the time being, it looks like this is one hell of a game. Everybody seems to love it. My first 4 or 5 hours further reinforced that general opinion. My one problem with the game so far is the fact that it is, by all intents and purposes, an absolute resource hog. Hopefully they will come out with some sort of a patch, some sort of optimizations, but it looks like it was meant for us to use upscalers. So if that is the case, I don't think performance will get monumentally better. This looks like a game meant for the RTX 5090. And I do believe, my friends, that is pretty much it. As always, my name has been Leyzar. I hope that this short first impression was useful to you. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And if you enjoy this style of content, make sure to drop a sub. I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.